The only 3 exercises you need for huge quadriceps in just 28 days. Having strong quadriceps goes far beyond aesthetics. This powerful muscle group is fundamental for knee stability, improved athletic performance, and even for daily activities like climbing stairs or getting up from a chair. Well-developed quadriceps also balance the aesthetics of the legs, creating that athletic silhouette that many desire. But here's the truth. Most people don't know how to correctly stimulate this muscle. They train without focus, without technique, and mainly, without results. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the only 3 exercises that, when performed correctly and with appropriate periodization, will completely transform your quadriceps in just 28 days. And the best part is, they work at any age. But before we begin, please leave in the comments your name and the city from where you're watching our content. There are 2 common mistakes that you need to avoid in quadriceps training. The first is exercise overload. Many believe that the more variety, the better. In reality, this only dilutes your effort and reduces the intensity needed for muscle growth. The second is incorrect execution. I see people daily in the gym using excessive loads, performing movements with partial range of motion, and worst of all, neglecting the eccentric phase of the exercise, the one where the muscle is lengthening under tension. It's precisely in this phase that the greatest stimulus for hypertrophy occurs. Now let's get to the exercises you need. Warm-up exercise, leg extension machine. It's extremely common to see people going straight to squats or leg press without preparing the muscle. The ideal warm-up for quadriceps training begins on the leg extension machine. This isolated exercise allows you to specifically activate the rectus femoris and vastus medialis, 2 of the 4 muscles that make up the quadriceps. I want to make it very clear, the goal here is not to tire the muscle, but to activate it. I recommend doing 15 to 20 repetitions with a light weight, something around 30 to 40% of your maximum. What we're doing here, basically, is sending a signal to your body. I'm going to start working this musculature. Get ready. This will activate local circulation, raise the muscle temperature, and awaken the muscle fibers that we'll need in the more intense exercises. In fact, if you really want to maximize your performance in squats, I have an additional suggestion. Include a light exercise for calves, such as heel raises, and an exercise for adductors, such as the adductor machine. This will significantly improve your mobility, allowing you to achieve greater range of motion in the squat, which translates to greater quadriceps activation. Now that we are properly warmed up, let's move to the first exercise that will transform your quadriceps, the Bulgarian split squat. Exercise 1, Bulgarian split squat. The Bulgarian split squat, also known as Bulgarian lunge, is possibly the most underestimated exercise for quadriceps development. Unlike the traditional squat, which distributes the load between the 2 limbs, the Bulgarian split squat concentrates the effort on one leg at a time, creating a much more intense stimulus. This allows you to work each leg individually, correcting possible muscle imbalances, something extremely common that can compromise not only aesthetics, but also your joint health. To correctly perform the Bulgarian split squat, you'll need a bench or platform with a height of approximately 16 to 20 inches. Position yourself with your back to the bench, at a distance of approximately 1 long step. Place the top of your rear foot on the bench, keeping your torso erect and your gaze forward. From this position, lower yourself in a controlled manner until the front knee forms an angle close to 90 degrees. Here's the secret that few know. During the descent, focus on keeping the weight distributed mainly on the heel of the front leg. This will maximize quadriceps activation and reduce the load on the knee. A common mistake is excessive forward leaning of the torso during the movement. This transfers the effort from the quadriceps to the glutes, reducing the stimulus we want to provide. Another serious mistake is allowing the front knee to go beyond the line of the toes, which significantly increases pressure on the joint. Always keep the knee aligned with the ankle, properly distributing the load between quadriceps and glutes. As for breathing, inhale during the descent and forcefully exhale during the ascent when the effort is greater. This will increase your core stability and allow for greater force generation. To maximize results, I recommend 4 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions for each leg. Use a weight that makes the last 2 repetitions truly challenging, but without compromising technique. Between sets, rest 60 to 120 seconds, enough time to partially recover, but maintaining a certain level of fatigue that will enhance muscle growth. Each week, seek to progressively increase the weight or number of repetitions. This systematic progression is what will ensure the continuous evolution of your quadriceps. Exercise 2. Leg press. The leg press is a true mass builder for the quadriceps. This exercise allows you to use significantly higher weights than the Bulgarian split squat, creating an intense mechanical stimulus necessary for muscle growth. Unlike the traditional squat, the leg press drastically reduces the load on the lumbar spine, allowing you to focus entirely on the activation and exhaustion of the quadriceps without concerns about trunk stabilization. To maximize quadriceps activation in the leg press, foot positioning is crucial. Many make the mistake of placing the feet too high on the platform, which transfers much of the effort to the glutes and hamstrings. To focus on the quadriceps, position your feet on the lower or middle part of the platform, with a width approximately at shoulder width. Keep your knees aligned with your feet throughout the movement to protect the joint. The correct execution begins with absolute control in lowering the weight. This is probably the most common mistake I see in gyms. People letting the weight simply fall in free fall, losing all the potential for muscle stimulation. Lower the weight slowly and in a controlled manner, mentally counting to 3 during this phase. You should feel the quadriceps actively working to break the movement. Upon reaching the appropriate depth, approximately a 90-degree angle in the knees, push the weight up in an equally controlled manner, avoiding sudden extensions or complete locking of the knees at the top of the movement. Another technical detail frequently neglected is the pressure of the feet on the platform. To maximize quadriceps activation, direct the force mainly through the heels and middle of the foot, avoiding excessive pressure with the toes. This ensures that the quadriceps is the protagonist of the movement, not the calves. As for breathing, take a deep breath before starting the descent, keeping the air in your lungs during the downward movement. This respiratory lock increases intra-abdominal pressure, providing greater stability. When starting the ascent, exhale gradually as you overcome the resistance. This synchronization between breathing and movement will enhance your strength and performance. To obtain transformative results, I recommend 4 sets on the leg press with a specific periodization. The first set with 15 repetitions using 60% of your maximum weight, focusing on perfect technique. The second set with 12 repetitions at 70%. The third with 10 repetitions at 80%. And the fourth challenging set with 8 repetitions at 85 to 90% of your maximum capacity. Between sets, rest 2 to 3 minutes for appropriate strength recovery. This progressive structure creates a complete stimulus, working both muscle endurance and pure strength. A common mistake that I want you to avoid is the temptation to use excessively high weights, compromising the range of motion. A partial leg press with 440 pounds will produce inferior results to a complete and controlled leg press with 330 pounds. Remember, it's the quality of the stimulus, not just the amount of weight, that will determine your results. For those who already master the basic execution very well, an extremely effective advanced technique is the inclusion of isometric pauses during the movement. When lowering the weight, make a pause of 2 to 3 seconds in the lower position before going up. This isometry under maximum tension creates an additional stimulus for hypertrophy. Exercise 3. Leg extension machine. After having intensely stimulated the quadriceps with compound exercises like the Bulgarian split squat and the leg press, we return to the leg extension machine, but this time with a completely different purpose. We're no longer warming up. We're now seeking to completely exhaust the muscle fibers of the quadriceps. The beauty of the leg extension lies precisely in its simplicity, a controlled, direct movement with total focus on the target muscle. Unlike the previous compound exercises, here the movement is clean, without interference from glutes, hamstrings, or stabilizers. It's just you and your quadriceps, nothing more. To correctly perform leg extensions, adjust the equipment so that the machine's axis of rotation aligns perfectly with the axis of rotation of your knee. The back should be firmly supported on the backrest, with the hips at a 90-degree angle. Hold firmly onto the side handles to avoid compensations. A crucial detail that few know: keep your feet relaxed during execution. Many make the mistake of pointing their toes upward, which reduces the activation of the rectus femoris. With the feet in a neutral position or slightly pointed downward, you'll maximize the activation of the entire quadriceps. The ideal movement begins with a controlled extension of the legs until the knees are completely extended, but without locking the joint. In the upper position, Maintain a maximum isometric contraction for 1 to 2 seconds, really squeezing the quadriceps. The eccentric phase should be even more controlled, taking 2 to 3 seconds. We emphasize this so much because this emphasis on the negative phase is where the greatest stimulus for hypertrophy occurs. A serious technical error is partial movement, where the person doesn't allow the knees to flex completely in the lower position. This lack of range drastically reduces the effectiveness of the exercise. Allow the knees to flex to approximately 90 degrees, feeling a slight stretch in the quadriceps before starting the next repetition. To maximize results, I recommend a special protocol for the final 4 sets. Start with a set of 15 repetitions with moderate weight, focusing on perfect contraction. For the second set, slightly increase the weight and perform 12 repetitions. In the third set, increase the weight again for 10 repetitions. For the final set, we'll use the drop set technique. Start with a weight that allows only 8 complete repetitions and immediately reduce the weight by 30 to 40% and continue until you can do 8 more repetitions. Without rest, reduce the weight again and force 8 more repetitions. This intensification technique will cause an extreme metabolic stimulus, completely exhausting the muscle fibers of the quadriceps. The leg extension, when performed as a final exercise, also has a very interesting visual effect. As the machine works with the knee completely extended, it especially emphasizes the contraction of the vastus medialis, that volume in the inner part of the thigh, near the knee. This detail gives a more defined and aesthetic appearance to the leg in general, creating that muscle teardrop that is the trademark of well-developed quadriceps. I'll be honest with you, after this complete workout, you'll probably leave the gym unable to walk normally, but that's exactly where growth lies. This temporary discomfort is indicative that you've created the necessary stimulus for adaptation and muscle growth. That's why I have a bonus tip: post-workout nutrition. After an intense workout like this, where the quadriceps was pushed to the limit, the body enters a state called the anabolic window. It's a period of time right after training when the organism is more receptive to nutrient absorption. At this moment, offering the right foods can accelerate muscle recovery and maximize the growth of the fibers that broke during the exercises. And here's another important detail: you don't need to rush to eat exactly 5 minutes after training, as many people believe. This idea that the anabolic window is very brief is exaggerated. You have a reasonable time, around 1 hour and perhaps a little more, to have a solid and complete meal. The important thing is not to let too much time pass without eating, and to ensure that what you consume really provides the necessary building blocks for muscle reconstruction. The first point in this post-workout meal is the following: you need to combine protein with carbohydrate. Protein alone is not enough. Protein provides the amino acids that will rebuild the muscle, while carbohydrate replenishes the glycogen lost during training and also stimulates the release of insulin, an anabolic hormone that facilitates the entry of nutrients into muscle cells. Here are some post-workout meal options. Option 1, rice and eggs. One of the most efficient, practical, and accessible combinations. Rice, especially white rice, has quick digestion, provides energy, and helps in insulin release. Eggs are one of the highest biological value proteins that exist, providing all essential amino acids with high absorption. If you can include some additional egg whites along with the yolk, even better, because it increases the total amount of protein without overdoing the fats. Option 2, sweet potato with shredded chicken. Sweet potato provides energy more slowly, keeping the body nourished for longer. Chicken is a lean protein that helps repair and build muscle tissues. Option 3, whey protein shake with banana. If you prefer something more practical, especially if you train at night or have little time, whey has rapid absorption, ideal right after training. The banana provides carbohydrates along with potassium, which helps in muscle recovery and prevents cramps. And of course, maintaining hydration is also part of the process. Water is essential for nutrient transport and for maintaining the proper cellular environment for protein synthesis. If you train heavy and don't drink enough water, you may be sabotaging your results without realizing it. If you liked this, and besides quadriceps also want to discover how to build huge trapezius muscles in just 28 days, we've left a video appearing right now on your screen showing the only 2 exercises you need for this muscle. Thank you for watching up to here, and may God bless you, my friend.